All right, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? So my name is Dr. Krystal Morris. We're going to switch it up a little bit, and we're going to have a little girl talk. Is that okay? Yes, ma'am. All right. So this is like derivative from my podcast, Evolving. You're not done, you're becoming. Oftentimes as women, we go through different stages in life, from being the nurturer to being the sister, the child, the mother. And then when you step into the role of leadership or career, you know, sometimes that takes a back seat. So we are going to let these lovely young ladies introduce themselves, and we're going to talk about the role of stepping into that level of leadership and entrepreneurship as a Black woman, and you know how that has affected us, how becoming into that next stage and cycle in our life. And we'll get the conversation going. So we'll start with the introductions. I'll start with myself. My name is Dr. Krystal Morris. I am originally from Louisiana. I'm 26 years an educator. I have recently, in the last couple of years, stepped into my role as owner and chief executive officer of the Urban Community Coalition, and we provide resources to the African American community. I'm an author. One of the books, well, I have 8 children's books out, but one of the books that I'm working on is called Forming Krystal, and it is like a memoir of the challenges and the changes that I've gone through my life, and what has gotten me to this point and where I see myself moving forward. And I'll pass it on to Dr. Erica.
Good afternoon. Dr. Erica Johnson, CEO and founder of Imagine That Consulting, where we support leaders in their transformation process. Also, I will always be a teacher, 26 years of education experience, the love of my life. I'm a mother and trying to be great on this stage today, Dr. Krystal.
Are you on?
Hello. Some of you all were here earlier. My name is Dr. Kamisha Childs, and I shared with you I'm a children's book author. By day, I am a tenure professor. I also own Edwise Consulting and Edwise Publishing. And just like these ladies, I am an educator, pushing 25 years in education, literacy, digital literacies, parent involvement, and anything culturally relevant teaching is my area of expertise. I'm a wife, a daughter with parents who don't often understand how busy I am. So I was just asked to be on this panel, and I'm grateful to be here with you all today.
Hello, I'm back. If you weren't here earlier, I'm Tawanda Prince, the Good Life Coach. I am the author of 9 books, and also in education for 30 years, might as well say. And I was thrust into entrepreneurship after a major life shift, and I moved into other areas. I guess we'll talk about those as we get a little deeper.
It works. It all works. Yeah. All right. So, like I said, we were talking about the different stages that we go through as women, and what it actually means to become that next person or the person that's needed for this time in your life. So I want to open it up and sort of do an icebreaker with the women. What do you all feel becoming means to you?
For me,
I thought we were going in order.
I'm not. Take a stab at it. You ready?
You see how they do me? You see what they do? Okay. Okay. So becoming changes with different stages of my life. Becoming healthy, becoming wealthy, becoming strong, becoming what that next level looks like, you know. Now I'm in my 60s, and so it's becoming a senior. It's all of that, and it looks very different than 40s and 50s, just in case you're wondering. So becoming we're all a work in progress, and as God reveals purpose and vision, we become that, which is what he had initiated for us to be. I know also as I learn more about myself, I become better at being myself because I'm the best at that. So it's ever evolving.
Yeah, I was going to say becoming is evolving. I always introduce myself that I am and I forgot to do that today, I'm a first generation college student turned teacher turned professor. And throughout each of those periods in my life, I have had to definitely become. I've learned lots of lessons, good and bad, but just from being a first generation college student to now teaching college students at a university, I mean, that just shows you, I know I'm the definition of becoming.
Right. So for me, becoming is an evolution. In fact, I think becoming can be a transformation. I think for me, becoming is accepting what other people see in me, eliminating the imposter syndrome, and knowing that I deserve to be in the room and have a seat at the table and not just be on the menu.
Exactly, I agree with that.
There you go.
I totally agree with that. And then if we go back to what Ms. Tawanda said, sometimes becoming is coming back to yourself. Sometimes we as women get so wrapped up in the other titles that we forget who we are. And so that is honestly a transformative journey that I'm on right now of trying to figure out who I am outside of being, you know, a mother or an educator now that I'm outside of the classroom, right? So it is a journey that can sometimes be long and hard. So whoever wants to pick it up first, what part, was there ever a moment in your journey of becoming and evolving and transitioning from educator to leader that you just wanted to just give up and quit?
I'll start.
Say which time?
I know, but what just stood out to me the most is I mentioned to you all that, again, I was a first generation college student turned teacher turned professor. In that transition from becoming teacher to professor, I applied for almost 70 jobs, 67 to be exact. And that was a very low point in life because I knew I had what it took, but we all know the politics of higher education, and I had to learn those politics. I didn't have anyone teaching me about those politics, and I bumped my head along the way. It did make me stronger. It's not the way I wanted it to make me stronger, but I'm stronger and wiser because of it. But that was the most pivotal point, were those lows. Between that and then also the tenure, going through the tenure process in higher education.
Yes.
I just came out of it, barely came out of it, after a fight. I don't want to go into details, but I will say that I had to fight, and I should not have had to fight for what I had already earned. So just those were the two crucial transition periods for me. It was when I was, I guess we'll say I was elevating in the career and becoming.
You want to go ahead?
Sure, I will. So for me, I jokingly said, like, how many times, right? Because whenever I would get a new teacher in my campus when I was a principal, I would give them a new teacher survival kit. And the kit would be a cup. And within the cup would be some other things. And I would tell them, you're gonna need this cup because if you haven't started drinking, you will in this job. Now, I'm not saying what you go put in the cup. I'm just saying you will be drinking to do this job. So with that, I would also tell them, there are gonna be days when you wanna quit. That's normal. That's what comes with this. For my principals, I would tell them the same thing. If you're not crying in your office sometimes, then something's wrong with you because that's part of this journey. So I think we often want to quit, but when you're working in your purpose and your calling, you know it's something bigger than you that is sustaining you and will give you that strength and that power that will then turn into wisdom that will allow you to continue the process and speaking to others that are feeling like they want to quit as well.
Yes, I'll go. Okay, so for me, I don't particularly get to the point where I want to quit because I never stop believing, but because I face so many health challenges, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a 4-time heart attack survivor, quadruple bypass. I've had 2 mini strokes, and I'm on my 3rd pacemaker. And I've been on that journey for the last 26 years. And so for me, the health challenges slow me down. This year alone, I went from just seeing a cardiologist. Now I have to see a nephrologist. Now I have to see a pulmonologist. Now I have to see, because the condition progresses, things change, right? And so those changes, they don't make me want to quit, but it makes me feel like sometimes like, will I have to, will I have to stop? Will I have to slow down? And sometimes I'm out of circulation for a few, pardon the pun, right? Heart circulation, because I have to. But then I get right back up and go because I do believe that, after dying twice, God has me here for a reason. And so it's my duty and responsibility to keep going until they close the box.
Exactly. I love that. It's about finding that why, that purpose to keep moving and don't quit, even in the face of, it's all crumbling down. And that actually leads us into the next question I have for you, ladies. As we go through our stages of evolving, how do we balance that both personally against leading professionally? So we have our personal side of evolving, but then we also have to balance that on the work side of being able to lead professionally. So how do we balance that?
So for me, I think work-life balance is a myth. I'm just saying, I don't think it's a real thing. I think it sounds good, but I don't think it's a real thing. I think, especially this work, when we're talking about education, it runs through your blood. You watch a commercial and you think about how I can take this to my classroom, right? Like, so I don't really believe that there's a work-life balance thing, or I haven't been exposed to that. But with that, I have learned to practice self-care.
Gotcha.
And I have learned to prioritize myself. And I'm finishing the book, the let them theory. And so really speaking to people are going to be who they're going to be, and they're going to do what they're going to do. You have to let them. Yes. And so I have to focus on what's going to be the best thing for me and my self-care and my self-help. And so I think that's what it is. I don't think it's a balance. I think it's practicing self-care.
Exactly.
So for me, it's not what you do, it's who I am, right? And I operate in so many different arenas. I'm a life coach. I work in the arenas of personal, professional, and spiritual development. I'm also an actor. I'm a drummer. I'm a singer. I'm a poet. I perform. I do a lot of different things. So no matter where I am, I'm doing something that is crossing the lines of personal and professional. And I'm an artist as well, a visual artist. And so I remember, when I was in school, the English professor said, when you're not writing, you're observing. You're gathering information to write. So it becomes, it's just who you are. It's how I operate. There's really not, there is a separation, so to speak, but even if I'm not operating in a professional mode, it's still being applied to what else I do. So,
Absolutely, I agree with everyone that has spoken so far. Education is in me, and also my style of educating is transparent. When I'm speaking to my students, I let them know about what's going on. I ask them about what's going on in their lives as well. For example, I let them know about this opportunity. Like, I share my experiences, and I guess that kind of helps. I wouldn't say it's balance, but people have compassion and they understand, and they also strive to find whatever it is that they're passionate about. So just kind of wearing my heart on my sleeve and my passion on my sleeve is what I do. But the main thing is also self-care as well. And I've had to learn the hard way in having self-care. Although I will admit I'm not perfect at that, I sometimes feel guilty for having self-care, but I'm trying to work on that and get over that.
I understand that guilty side, because it's like you want to be everything for everybody, and so when you take that moment for yourself, it's like, oh, did I take away from somebody else? And so I agree with Dr. Erica. As educators, sometimes work-life balance is definitely a myth, because you bring so much of your personal self into the classroom that is hard to separate at times. So yes, making sure we have self-care.
I wanted to add something.
Go ahead. Yes,
too.
ma'am.
So, teaching and educating is a calling. Mm-hmm. So it's different a lot of times from other professions. As an accountant, you can put your forms and your pencil down, or your computer, or whatever we use these days. You can tell that's not my lane, right? But teaching is a calling, and that calling doesn't stop at 5 or at 3 or at 8. It's who you're called to be. And so you don't disconnect from who you are called to be. It's the mantle that's been placed on you. And an honor to have that, even though it comes with all the other things that we said. But that calling is, you're called to be that always.
Exactly. Dr. Krystal, may I, can we address that issue about guilt?
Yes.
Just for a second. I want to free y'all from that.
Okay.
Because it's you should not feel guilty for taking care of yourself. Because round of applause. Because if you don't, then who will? At some point, you have to love yourself enough to let them. And you take care of you, and you don't have to apologize for that. There's no need to apologize for taking care of you.
That actually goes right into the next question that I'm going to ask you all. What is that one thing that you have to unlearn, that you were taught, that you feel you need to unlearn, and that goes into that guilt of when you are when you're in the role of service? You feel like you are the one that's supposed to give without taking anything back. And that's something that I've had to unlearn, that it's okay to give and give back to myself as well. So what is one thing that you ladies have learned that you feel you need to unlearn as we go through this cycle of evolving and becoming?
As an educator, we are always doing and giving things for free. And I have had to learn in this journey as an author / entrepreneur / consultant / publishing company that you have to charge for your time. We're always giving ourselves as educators for free. We're always giving out free things. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we have a lot of talent, and we often don't get paid for that talent. We usually give it away for free because that's just what we do and that's what's in us. But as a business owner, I've had to learn that people need to pay for your time, and so now I kind of get upset when people say, well, let me get in your ear for a minute. Can I talk to you about this? So I've been told by people, no, you need to tell them this is your fee for your time.
Exactly.
Can I pick your brain real fast?
Right. It's just like if you were a
Here's my
hairdresser.
contact information. Sign up for a time.
Right.
But that's been very difficult to do because we're asked to do so much with so little as educators, and we're always trying to find ways to do things for free, and we don't have that entrepreneur mind oftentimes as educators.
So for me, I'll be 50 next year. And it took me a long time to realize, oh girl, thank you. Starting when I was 12. It took me a long time to realize that giving wasn't for somebody else. It was for me. And when I started to understand that this is really for me and to make me feel a certain way, I start giving differently.
Gotcha.
I'm okay with saying, no, I don't have time. You saw it today. No, I'm not talking to him.
Yes.
This is not the time for, I don't have the space for that. And so I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to, and guess what? It's okay. It's okay. And everything was fine.
For me, I'm such a bleeding heart, pardon the pun. I feel so sorry for everybody. I just want to just love everybody and help everybody. And I've had to learn I cannot take on the whole world. I cannot fix it, as bad as I want to. I just can't fix everything for everybody. And so I've had to learn to set those boundaries and to know where my lane ends. And that comes with the saying no. Now, I'm not one of those that have the guilt about taking the time off. That's not my problem. Y'all come see me. I'll tell you how to do that. Okay, I don't have that problem, but I do have a more of a challenge of just saying no when people ask me, oh, hey there, I remember you from last year. So yes, okay. Sorry, I digress. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, Miss Prince. You are hilarious. But yes, I agree with you with learning how to say no. I am glad you did not learn how to say no when I came and asked you to jump on this stage.
I just got on this panel.
Yeah, so I appreciate your yes. However, it is something about not just learning how to say no, but saying no and sticking with that no is something that I'm learning. I'm finally learning to say no, but then I'll waver. So it's saying no and then saying no, like sticking with the no
Because you're
that I gave
comfortable
you.
sacrificing yourself.
That is true. That is true. You don't have to tell my business, Erica.
I'm sorry, that coaching hat
You know,
coming out.
listen. Okay. As we get down to the last question for these ladies, I know a lot of us mentioned that we are parents. I forgot to mention that I am a parent. I am a mother of a lovely 22-year-old daughter. How you doing, Kaya? Gonna give her shout out. But as we talk about building legacies and making sure that the next generation is prepared, let's back up and talk to our younger selves. What is something that we would say to our younger selves that would get us ready and prepared to build the legacy that we are trying to build right now?
Okay, I'll jump in.
Okay. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I would tell myself that you are enough. Simply that you are enough. I think for so long, I didn't think I was enough. And so it took other people to tell me, girl, you can do this and you can do that. I need you. Da, 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 da. I'm like, oh, okay, let's do it, right? I'm rolling with it. But if I would have known then that I was enough, I think I would have made a lot of different choices in my life. And so my daughter, but I constantly tell her she is enough. She's more than enough sometimes. Yes.
I was looking over here. Okay, so I guess I would say to Tawanda, keep the faith. Because that has been the thing that has sustained me through all of those phases, through all of the becoming, and all of the challenges that I have had to face. It has been standing on my faith. But if little Tawanda had known that earlier on, then some things might have gone differently for me. But yes, keep the faith, keep believing, and believe beyond what you see.
I don't know how to top that, but I also would say to keep the faith, to believe in yourself, to go far beyond. You'll go far beyond where you are and where you came from. I just shared a while ago about not being confident in my name. Just the smallest thing as a name made me take a different direction in a career I wanted to do. And just not letting the small things stop me, keeping that faith and moving on, knowing that someone from the middle of the country with not a lot going on, to be here, that it's possible. So I would just tell her to keep the faith and I know it sounds so cliche, but to believe in yourself no matter what. Because there's always, I think a couple conversations back, there's always that little glimmer of hope that comes, whether it be an opportunity like this to speak to you all, or whether it be a job opportunity. There's always something, and you just have to look for those things, kind of keep your head up and looking for those things that help you continue to press on.
Agreed. I think for me, what I would tell younger Krystal is that you belong in the room. Oftentimes I thought that I didn't belong in the room, and so I would do the work, but I would always stay behind scene, right? And so this is like the actual reason why we came up with the podcast, Evolving, You're Not Done, You're Becoming, is stepping out of the shadows or hiding, thinking you don't belong when you actually do. And so that's one of the things that I think I would tell my younger self, is that you actually do belong in the room, and the work that you're doing, yes, it is important, but they need to see the person behind the work as well. And as we get to our last 2 minutes, I know we had I think she walked away, but I know I had someone in the audience that had a question or had a statement. If there's anybody who has any questions or has anything that they want to share, we will take these last couple of minutes to do that. Or if the ladies on the panel have one final thing they would like to say, we can do that as well. I know why everybody looking down.
Well, I will, because I rarely have something to say, but I'll try. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm a life coach, and so a lot of people say, well, what does a life coach do? Help you get your life together. That's what we help you do, and we support you through the changes and through the becoming. And so I do have 2 books. I have The Good Life Coach. It's a coaching guide for breakthrough. And then I have the Good Life Plan Master, which is a planner that assists. You can either do the planner by yourself or use it with the book, but to help you not just to plan your daily activities, but it gives you each month a way to chart your mindset inventory, where you are, and also plot your vision. Everybody's doing vision boards. Yeah, but what do we do with them? I don't know. Well, the planner will help you to chart take the things off your vision board and actually make them actionable items that you chart and you do. And I also offer life coaching, and there is a free discovery session. So if somebody just wants to have a chat, you can see me over there and sign up for that. Okay.
Be sure, if you are a social media person, again, I'm Dr. Kamisha Childs. Be sure to follow me at Dr. spelled out K Childs, where you will find me sharing things about everything, all things literacy, education, and life related. Right now, you'll see a lot of my debut children's book, I Am More Than My Name, a story about owning the power and having a unique name.
So for me, you can follow me on social media at Dr. Ericka, Ericka Johnson. It's on all the social media platforms, where I talk about toxic cultures and how we can fix them, and how you can be the very best leader that God has called you to be. I do conferences, and we have 2 seconds, and it's on you.
All righty. Thank you, ladies, again. I know this was a last-minute impromptu session, but I really appreciate you all for stepping in. Again, my name is Dr. Krystal Morris. My podcast is called Evolving. You are not done, you're becoming. My social media is at Dr. Krystal T. Morris. If you want booth 820, I did talk about the youth empowerment books that we have over there. I write youth empowerment books for children. Dr. Erica is in the same booth with me. Dr. Kamisha is here on the side of the stage. And then Miss Tawanda Prince is at the front right next to the American Postal Workers camp. So we have to get off the stage now, but we will be at our respective booths. And thank you all again.